Recording in progress.
You're wearing black. Did you play tennis in black, or have you put black on to cool down?
I did. I always play tennis in black.
Oh.
It made someone I was playing the other day think I was a New Zealander, though, which I was not happy about. He goes, "Are you from New Zealand?" Because he heard my accent. And I'm like, "No, what made you say that?" "Were you wearing all black?"
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I was wearing all black.
Is it because you like to be the dark guy on the court in the midst of...
I like to do a haka before we start, except the song I do it is The Man in Black.
Yes,
Man
nice.
in black, man in black is back. I usually wear a black cap too.
Yeah, that's right. So you're singing it about yourself just as you walk on.
Yeah. I can just hear your voice in the back of my head.
The man in black, the man in black is back. Man in black and a black cap. You know how Wimbledon is the only Grand Slam where you must wear pure white, like with no branding
in the tennis,
and stuff.
Yes.
In the tennis, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Then are all English people like that? Do they? I picture English people out in pure white, clothes, and that you just stride out in your black and.
There aren't many people at my club who wear all white. A few of the women do wear like white tennis outfits, but I think if you turn up wearing all white, I don't know, it looks like you're taking it all a bit seriously.
Right.
So you better be good. Yeah.
Yes. That's why you wear come in black, because this guy will be rubbish. Is there?
Lower the expectations. Look, speaking of colours, and speaking of the colour blue, Bluey, the animated dog we discussed last episode.
Yes.
The cartoon, which everyone seems to love. I said Bluey was a boy. I referred to him with male pronouns. Bluey is a girl.
Yes.
Tim, as someone with two daughters, will appreciate that there are two daughters in the show Bluey, not a boy and a girl. And I would thank everyone individually who pointed that out, but we don't have that long.
And can I just say, we don't have time to even cover the amount of people that pointed it out to me.
You could have told me during the recording and saved me so much hassle.
I didn't catch you saying it during the recording. I didn't catch you saying it. But.
You're the only one. So I obviously I've only watched a handful of episodes. I just didn't realise, and little kids all sound the same to me. And as someone who has a boy that's sometimes confused for a girl, that just happens with kids. So, no, I'm not going to thank everyone who pointed it out. I'm just going to thank some of you. The ones I'm not going to thank are the ones who went onto Reddit or somewhere, saw that it had already been pointed out, and pointed it out again. I think at best, that's lazy. And at worst, the worst people are the ones who see someone write on Reddit, "Oh, Bluey is a girl," and write as a reply to that comment, "Yes, Bluey is a girl." So they've definitely seen that it's been pointed out.
And Gillette, great moment in pointless comments. That's good.
People love pointing out mistakes. When you make a mistake. God, people love it. And this was like peak. Absolute peak. Bluey is a girl.
It is a bit like the conventional, it's the family of four on TV, and you know what I mean? The little girl, the boy, that's you see that over and over. And
in my defense, everyone I've ever known who is called Blue or Bluey, which is a nickname in Australia, usually for people with red hair, it's a male nickname. I've never known a female to be called Blue or Bluey in my life. But I've known lots of men to be called that.
That's true. That is true.
So that is part of the reason I think I made the mistake. The other one is the parents in Bluey. The man is sort of a blue-coloured blue heeler, and the mother is like a red-coloured red heeler.
Yeah.
And Bluey is blue-coloured, and Bingo, the other girl, is red-coloured. So there was a confluence of information that led to my mistake. But it was a mistake. Bluey is a girl. You can all relax.
It was my assumption when I was introduced by my daughters, and then it was like, oh, right, okay, yeah.
I assumed. One should never assume. And if you think it's funny to now go on Twitter and say to me again, Bluey is a girl, you go ahead and do that, and you have your little chuckle. But know this, you will be muted, and it's the last thing I will ever read you write. So decide if you want that joke enough, because it's the last joke you'll make to me. And that's okay. But later on, in like 6 months, when you want to contact me on Twitter and tell me something, I won't be seeing it. So make your choice. Make your choice. Do you want the joke? It's up to you.
Way to ostracize 90% of our civilians in one 5-minute intro. That's like...
It's all right. No. Everyone who's already done it, you're fine, you know.
Yeah.
You were right, and it's right to point out mistakes and blah, 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 blah. But if you do it now for a joke...
Do you know what those pointless comments are a bit like? You know that scene in a film, or maybe you remember from primary school, where someone's like said something to someone that no one else has had the courage to say, but there's about 10 people behind them, and then they one by one they go, yeah, 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 yeah.
Speaking of Bluey, though, let me read this fantastic. We got other messages about Bluey. People who love the show, you know, it really strikes a chord, and it's a fantastic show. It is sort of for kids, but go ahead and watch it, even if you're an adult, because it is great. I love this message. This came from Cody in Wisconsin. I've been meaning to write in for a while now, but the latest episode prompted me to finally do so. I was listening to the podcast while out on patrol. I work a 12-hour night shift, and the shift can get quite long. I should point out that Cody is like a patrol officer, like a policeman.
Right.
Anyway, I have long had a soft spot in my heart for Australian culture, and when you guys mentioned Bluey, I figured I should check it out so I would understand the reference. During a particularly slow part of the shift, I parked on the side of the road and ran some radar, and I pulled YouTube up on my phone. Between cars, I watched a couple of episodes of Bluey. I must say, I was struck by how genuine the show feels. There I was, a 29-year-old deputy, sitting in my patrol car on the side of the road, crying like a little girl at the genuine wholesomeness of the show. I think it is about the most wholesome content I've ever consumed, besides the wholesome episode with Mrs. Hine, of course.
Yes.
Which I think would have benefited from a mention of Bluey.
Yes. Oh, that's great.
Very good.
I like it. I like that he's a boy in blue as well, like as we call the police in Australia. Yeah. Nice.
I wonder if like Cody would have pulled anyone over and just like got just caught up in the emotion and the wholesomeness and the goodness of it all and just let them off. I'll let you off with a warning this time, just for Bluey.
A little moral lesson. Come on now.
Yeah.
You know, you can do better. I believe in you. Yes.
Also, in the last episode, we mentioned jobs that we did when we were younger, whether we'd like to go back to them or not and things like that. That was an idea from Tim. And we heard from lots of you about jobs you did. Thank you for writing in. I'll mention one here from Spin Echo. In high school, in the early 90s, I worked delivery for a florist. Fantastic job. Basically paid to drive around and listen to my mixtapes all day at $3 per delivery. Cash, of course. No GPS, Mapsco all the way. People receiving the flowers were generally very happy. It was a highlight of their day. The main downside was that the tips were rare. The recipients weren't usually expecting flowers. They were happy to be receiving a gift, and tipping the delivery person was not on their mind.
Oh, yeah.
Also, every now and again, the delivery was for a funeral, which brought you down a little. The other fun memory from that job was Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. Way too many deliveries to be done, but at $3 a pop, I was there to make it happen. I had to drive around town like a madman. The flowers would be flying around in the trunk. I had to remake many of the arrangements in the parking lot or driveway. I think being a flower delivery person would be great.
Why? Because it's bringing joy?
Yeah, you're just this bubble of happiness. You're just like this person who walks in the room and brings happiness and smiles and laughter and tears and love and like what a great thing to do.
Yeah, I like the idea. I think it's my wife's fantasy to be a florist, just to sort of have a little, florist flower shop. But I think heaps of girls think that. They have this sort of vision of being there and having a florist, and they never think about having to do all the paperwork and the bookwork and, marketing and the GST. Or maybe they do. But
tell your wife if she opens a florist, I'm up for being her delivery boy.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You got a long way to come for the shifts, but it's dedication.
$3 a pop. $3 a pop, make an absolute killing. You must deal with a lot of flower delivery because you do weddings and funerals and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm not actually getting married or, They're around the place, yeah. There's a flower room here at the church where there's like flowers and stuff arranged, like done and arranged for Sunday and for different events and things. And it's got all like vases and stuff.
You sounds like you're not particularly au fait with the flower room.
I'm not across the detail of it, no, to be honest.
No, you delegate the flowers. You're not in there arranging them before your sermon.
I don't notice flowers, to be honest. Apart from tulips, I sort of go, oh, there's a tulip because I recognise it. But I don't notice flowers at all.
Will you do me a favour this Sunday at church? Before you do your sermon, will you just take a second to say, can I just say how wonderful the flowers look today and thank whoever arranged them?
Oh, indeed. They're not every week, I must say, but I will do that. Or at least I'll point around and go, where are the flowers? I love it when we have flowers. Who's not done their job today? And then... Are you a big flower buyer? Do you with your wife buy or someone else buy flowers?
It's not my instinct. I know sometimes to do it to bring happiness to the house, but it's not an instinctive move for me because they're temporary. I like buying presents that last forever.
Right.
And I know that's part of the romance of them. I know that's part of like the beauty of giving flowers, but I'd rather like a piece of jewelry or something, something that lasts forever.
It is crazy because it's an easy win. It's always a win, isn't it? It's like an easy
why do we not do it more?
I never think of it. No.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, it's low-hanging flowers. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, flower delivery. I love the idea of just being that happy person. Also, another thing that we've been discussing lately is it all started with, I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name. It's just fallen out of my head, but we've mentioned him a few times, so he can't complain. The chap from Israel who, when he rubs his chin, the beardy part of his chin, gets hiccups automatically.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then we heard from other people who get that. And Elazar17 did a bit of research and wrote, as they mentioned the hiccup thing again, I actually did some research and found a medical paper from 2004 called Chin Stimulation, a trigger point for provoking acute hiccups. That seems to describe what the other listeners have mentioned. I think the paper is just a one-page letter to the editor, but it's well referenced and an interesting read. Here's the link. And I will put the link in the notes for this episode so people can go and have a look. I have had a read of it myself, and it seems like it was just a doctor that had heard a bit about this. It seems to be maybe a journal called Respiration? Yeah, Respiration. Initiation of hiccups by manipulation of the unshaven 24-hour hair growth chin is a not previously known way to provoke this mysterious malady, which ceases abruptly upon interruption of chin manipulation. And later on it says, we report 2 middle-aged healthy men who discovered that by stroking or shaving their unshaven chin, they could provoke acute explosive hiccups. The reflex disappeared after local anesthesia of the mental nerve.
Gosh.
And then it goes into a lot of other details and lots of big, long words and body parts I've never heard of. So have a read, people. It's the real deal.
Well, there you go. Well, I guess that settles it, yes.
You're a believer now? You've come round?
I'm amazed that they got that article out so quickly. We only broadcast that episode a few weeks ago.
One more message from a civilian that I'm very excited to read. This comes from Jay Oswald in Australia and Jay's wife, Annalise. Jay writes, just wanted to introduce both of you to your probably youngest fan. He is 9 hours old at the moment, and there's a picture of a baby. And it says, Unmade has been me and my wife's favourite podcast since we were dating, and now we're married with our first baby. We decided to call him Adrian Brady Oswald. Brackets, sorry, Tim.
Unbelievable.
We are already planning our first pilgrimage to Traralgon KFC. Brady! Adrian Brady!
Oh,
named after the great man.
Oh, how does that happen? Incredible. They obviously flipped a coin.
I hope you're really jealous. I hope that's made you really jealous.
I am a little bit jealous. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Tim's a pretty common name, though.
It's a wonderful name.
Yeah, but it's there, and I'm not saying it's a bad name. It's a perfectly serviceable name. But you're not going to say to your parents, like, why is my middle name Tim? Like, you're just going to be like, oh, Tim. But, like, when your middle name's Brady, it's like, Adrian Brady sounds great too.
Why the heck is my middle name Brady? That's what he's going to say one day. Is there another?
Love it.
I don't know if I've asked you this before. Have you met another Brady with a first name Brady?
I have met a couple. I wasn't until I was in my 20s that I met my first. But I've now met, a couple, 2 or 3. And I've met, and I'm sure I told you the story. It was the night Donald Trump was elected. I remember I was at a theatre group and I needed to charge my phone. And I saw a phone charger. So I said to someone, oh, can I use that phone charger? And they said, oh, that's Brady's phone charger. You'll have to go and check. So I went upstairs and said, oh, is Brady here? I want to borrow your phone charger. And this woman turned around and said, yes, that's me.
Oh, right.
And it was a woman called Brady. Yeah. Lady Brady, she has been nicknamed.
Oh, that's a great story.
I have met 1 or 2 fellas as well. But not many.
I've never met a female Timothy, I have to say.
Really?
But there is...
Is there a female version of Tim or Timothy? Is there like a... You know, had lots of names like a female.
The only reference point I have for this is at school being given the nickname Timberlina. You know how you'd be sort of called a girl as a, derogatory thing. So Timberlina. But I'm not sure that was well researched by the other kids in grade 6. And it's never really stuck. But I remember it 30 years later. And 40 years later... no, there's not really. Tamiti, Tamara, Tim, there's not, I don't think, really. Heidi is the alternative name to Tim, if you recall. Remember my mum told me that's what they were going to call me if they had a girl.
You were going to be Heidi Hine, that's right.
I was going to be Heidi Hine, yeah. Love it. Yeah. I really like that, actually. Right. Yeah.
And I was going to be Courtney.
That's right.
But anyway, lucky Adrian. Welcome to the world.
I like the name Adrian too. I've had a few Adrians that I've known, and they always seem to be kind of pretty cool people. There we go. He's going to be like a poet or a novelist, I think, something like that.
He's going to be an absolute legend. Is what he's going to be. Well done. Thank you for that message, and thank you for choosing. I guess they just said, well, which host do we like more? And went with Brady. I consider that must have been them.
Which host do we feel sorry for and, feel like we need to
throw him a bone. Yeah, throw him a bone.
Give him something. Can I just point out at this point, before we move any further, like I have words from my daughters, right? And
secret words.
I have secret words, and I'm just putting that.
Whoa, this is early.
I know. I'm just putting a marker in the episode and just saying they're there. They were written. Look, they were written on my hand, back to front in Texter, by one of the daughters.
I can see them.
Over dinner.
I can see them.
Can you see what they are? Can you make out what they are? Are they back to front?
Yes, I can read them. Yes.
Yeah, good. So they're there. Let's just remember they're there. We don't have to say them now, but I want to say them at some stage. And if you can help me...
You're so eager. Keen as mustard you are.
Well, that's right. That's right. I'm bouncing up and down. Like Tigger.
All right. Well, let's see. Maybe we'll drop them in at some point.
We'll see. Let's hopefully get them in.
All right. Now, unbelievably, as Tim has actually done his job for the episode, he's dropped in the secret words.
I got nothing else.
Well, it's funny you've done that because I cannot think of an episode we've been less prepared for than this. It's been a bit... And you're probably thinking, well, if you're not prepared, why are you recording an episode? And that's a fair question. And the answer is basically, I've got a busy few days and a week ahead, so we suddenly realised it was kind of now or never. So it was a last-minute decision. But it does mean I don't know how well prepared our ideas will be. Probably about as badly as ever.
Well, I think if you start asking questions like that, you sort of get to, why are we doing this at all? Like, what are we doing with our lives? Why is there...
I do wonder that from time to time. So who's going to go first with an idea for a podcast? I've got one. My poorly named episode, this is from the Tim School of Podcast Naming, I've decided to call White Chocolate.
Oh, I like this already.
You like the name?
I'm a big white chocolate fan.
Oh, no, you're joking.
What?
Oh, well, that ruins my idea even more. Because... Why? Well, not necessarily, but white chocolate is divisive in my household. My wife prefers darker chocolate.
Right.
But I really like white chocolate. And so I was getting some white chocolate out of the cupboard last night, late at night, for a little sneaky sweet treat.
Mm.
And for some reason, it came into my head, I wonder if Tim eats white chocolate or likes white chocolate, because I was thinking about podcasts and stuff. I decided I was confident that when I mentioned white chocolate, Tim would say, oh, no, I can't stand white chocolate. I don't like it. Turns out I'm wrong. Sounds like you like white chocolate. But my idea for a podcast is to try and pick things that you think the other person doesn't like or won't like without the knowledge, without the prior knowledge, which is hard because, we know a bit about each other's likes and dislikes, but there's lots of things like white chocolate that we don't know about.
That's right. I keep my secret passion for white chocolate a secret.
So I think it would be fun to think of things that you just think the other person is not going to like.
Yes. Okay. So, well, I know this is not the point anymore, but can I just point out, I actually am rather indifferent to regular chocolate. So I love dark chocolate and I love white chocolate. I hate anything in chocolate, like nuts or anything like that. It's got to be pure. But just a normal bar of dairy milk chocolate, I find bland. It doesn't do it for me. Anyway, so
I don't like dark chocolate. I don't like it bitter. I want my chocolate sweet, which is why I like white chocolate, because that's always super sweet.
So when we move into this area, that gives a bit of a hint with you, because I think if we stay in like the culinary area, I know there's quite a few things that you don't like.
Yeah.
But things with like organic and natural flavours, I think, are things that you don't like.
Okay. Like what?
Well, you're not very big on...
Let's take it in turns, naming things the other person doesn't like and see who fails the most.
Okay, so they've got to be specific things, okay? So
specific things, yeah.
All right, I'm going to say you don't like mushrooms.
No, I don't mind mushrooms.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't mind them. I wouldn't seek them out, right? Like, they're not like, woohoo, mushrooms, but I will eat mushrooms on my plate.
So you're not getting a sneaky mushroom from the cupboard late at night for something sweet?
No, I would sneak downstairs for mushroom when I go for my white chocolate. But I don't mind. I especially like them fried up a bit.
Okay, well, that surprises me because they're kind of earthy and fungy, and that's not really you. That's what I mean.
It wasn't a stupid guess, but you just happen to get unlucky there, because we eat a lot of vegetarian dinners now, and mushroom are quite often kind of the meaty replacement in some ways, like
Yeah.
And I've grown to quite appreciate a mushroom.
All right,
let me think of something I think you won't like. Clowns. Or am I remembering you don't like clowns? Or do you not? Where do you stand on clowns? Have you told me you don't like clowns?
It's so funny that you mention this. Two things. Firstly, this week, there was something on TV, but I was this week thinking about clowns and remembering how some people have a phobia of them, and me going, how, that's really funny. But I got it this week. Like, I dislike clowns. Clowns are annoying. I literally had that thought this week. So that's funny you mention it.
You may have told me that before.
No, I feel like I just sort of thought that this week. I didn't say it to anyone. Okay. But the other thing is, I was a clown. I was a clown when I was in that drama group when I was a teenager. And we learned clowning. And I was a clown.
That's right. No, what was your clown name? You had a clown name. You told me this. What was it?
Omelette.
Omelette, that's right. That's right. We've done. It was even the title of the episode. Yeah, Omelette. Okay. Yeah. So, do you like clowns or not like clowns?
They're a bit weird. I don't dislike them. It's not like a thing that I've always disliked or anything like that. But I'm largely indifferent to clowns. They're sort of the dairy milk chocolate. Okay. They're a bit annoying. They're the ultimate extrovert person standing in front of you, and that makes me sort of go, all right, let's just bring it down a little bit,
Let's see if you can come up with something I don't like.
All right, so I'm going to say watching like Dancing with the Stars, or is it Strictly Come Dancing, like dancing related reality television?
Yeah, I don't like that.
No.
Yeah, I don't like those shows. There have been periods in the past when I have watched the odd series, because it captured the nation and I got swept up by it. But now it's been years since I watched those. Yeah, I don't like those. I'm with you there. It astonishes me that people like them, but dancing's been around for millennia, so yes. All right, let me think of something that you won't like. I'm trying to think how can I systematically figure out something Tim doesn't like? I think, I'm trying to tap into your impatience because you're impatient.
Well, hurry up with think of something.
But you are a little bit pretentious. So there are things that I might think are a bit like tedious and boring, but you would like them because it sounds like, I would say, hiking, for example. That takes a lot of time and doesn't achieve much. But I think you would quite like the idea of being seen as someone who likes a nice hike.
No, you're wrong there. I know. I despise hiking. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I was on the right track then. Hiking.
Yeah.
Hiking.
Yeah. I get so bored. It's like, it's so boring. Yeah. I like going for a walk around a city. Like, I like that. I like walking, I love walking. I love going for a walk with a dog, putting the ear, podcast in your ear, going for a long, long, long walk around the city. But if it involves, if I get out of the urban area, start switching off. And then if you have to buy special boots and go and do the whole thing, with a backpack, it's not for me. It's one of my wife's great passions. So it's a great sadness to her, but I get so bored. Yeah. It's terrible. All right. I feel wrong for that, but yeah. Anyway, I know what you mean though about the pretension thing. Like, so if you'd said something like, a slow, long movie, you know what I mean? With slow, and it'd be like, I'll be impatient, but I'll be like, oh, there's something creative trying to be said here, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like that with It's a Wonderful Life, which everyone thinks is such a wonderful movie, including you. And I tried to watch that, and I couldn't get to the end of it. I took like 8 sittings, and in the end I said, nah, I've had enough. God, that movie's tedious.
You had to get into it maybe as a kid then. I'll have a couple of moments with it. I really love that movie. So much happens, though. That's not a slow movie. All right, let's get out of it. So we've done a bit of food and a bit of entertainment, and I wonder if there's something into fashion. I don't know. Is there something you don't like in what would you like in the fashion stakes? You're a pretty stylish guy. Something like that. Or car, is there something there? Music? Well, let me just say classical music.
No, I like classical music.
Okay.
I don't put it on much, but I like it. And I like instrumental music. Like, I love movie score.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, no, that's a bad call from me.
I'd hate jazz.
Oh, that's right.
I hate jazz.
We've gone there before.
Yeah. Something you don't like. I'm going to go for mathematics. Yeah?
Yeah. I don't... I like money mathematics. I find, because that's what I do, budgeting and all that kind of stuff. I don't mind that, and I like I said, because it feels useful and practical to me. Yeah, other mathematics, I guess, because I've never been into it. I've never been particularly good at it, but that may be because I've not been patient enough to learn it well, or because my teachers failed me, or because you weren't a good enough friend to tutor me, or I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Let me try something else that I'm just going to take a punt here on something you don't like.
Yeah.
Room temperature water. Just like a tepid glass of water.
Yeah. I like cold water. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right.
I can go for days and not have drunk any water at all. It's terrible. I'll have had like coffees and stuff, and then a gin in the evening or a wine, and then you sort of go, I don't think I've drunk any water for 48 hours. Like, it's terrible. Yeah. But when I have it, I like it cold. And at work, we have this special cold tap that's good. I like that. Yeah. I always go for that.
Yeah, I thought you wouldn't go for tepid water. All right.
What about you with leather jackets?
Yeah, I don't like leather jackets, or denim jackets particularly, although I have a couple. I don't find them comfortable.
Okay.
Clothes should be comfortable. Denim is not that comfortable, like a fabric, particularly on jackets.
It's got to be, once it's worn in on your jeans, but jackets take a lot to wear in. They don't really wear in, do they?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't like leather jackets. No. Where do I'm guessing you don't like Crocs?
No. Oh, no. They're kind of Dutch, aren't they? And they're kind of like clogs, but I just think they're ugly. Yeah, the holes and where they are and the street. Yeah, I'm afraid they're not. And Crocs with socks. Are you a Croc man? Do you like Crocs, do you?
No. No.
No, that's all right. We have Birkenstocks. They're a good substitute.
I don't like them.
Oh, you don't like Birkenstocks? Oh.
No, don't like them.
I could go them better because they're leather and they feel a bit more quality and stuff. I wear sliders around the house. I don't like sliders, but because we have concrete floors, my ankles get sore unless I wear them. And they're sort of these really nice special, they're from a running shoe. They're like a really super bouncy, nice rubber. And they look pretty ugly, but I wear them every minute I'm at home and not in bed. I'm going to say you don't like chalk. Oh. No,
I take that back because I think that would quite appeal to your pretentious Indiana Jones teacher.
I do. Yeah, no, I quite like chalk, a chalkboard, and I've thought about doing that in the big hall here at church where kids can just come and draw and stuff all over it. Thought putting some chalk paint up would be good fun. Except it's very dusty, and I don't like the dusty stuff.
No, that's what I don't like about chalk, and the sound of chalk on a chalkboard. It's not nice.
Oh, yeah. And it is, when you go drawing, unless you're using a little piece, it just snaps all the time. But I live my life with whiteboards, and I like a whiteboard to help my thinking, but I have the world's worst whiteboard penmanship. Just terrible. I'm trying to think of a sport that you don't like. And that's a hard one, isn't it? You're very sporty.
Yeah, I don't think you'll come up with one.
No.
All right, Tim. Here's one. Where do you stand on Hover, the domain registrar?
Oh, man.
That is sponsoring this episode.
Love Hover. Hover is fantastic.
I love them too. I love them. Tell me what you like about them.
They're just delicious. Oh no, hang on, that's white chocolate. Yeah. I love Hover. Hover is the obvious place to go to simply and quickly and efficiently and cheaply get domains on the internet. Buy domain names. Search through scores of them. If you're wondering, I wonder if this domain name's available, bang, go and have a look. And there it is. Price, click. Wang.
Why go to Hover though? You could go to one of their inferior rivals.
Well,
Why
could.
Go to Hover?
Well, I don't really know anything about them, but which one? You don't know. You've just got the one here from your old pals, Tim and Brady, recommending and going, well, if it's good enough for Tim and Brady, it's good enough for me. That's the recommendation.
I'll tell you why Hover's better than those other ones. Because they make it so simple and clean, and their interface is elegant, and there's not it doesn't seem like overly technical to buy it and then to use it, to attach it to things, to divert things to it, or just to sit on it. They just make it clean and simple and pure.
Yeah. Bit like a facial. Just like a cleansing experience. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It is. Registering a domain with Hover is like having a facial. It's like having...
You feel lighter somehow and freer.
Yeah, you got those cucumbers on your eyes, and you can choose the essential oil that you like most, and they may include a head massage sometimes, depending on. Yeah. So if you are in business, you definitely should be registering domains with Hover for things relating to your business. But even if you're just a normal person going about your business, I think it's helpful to have a few domains registered that to do with your interests, your name, like bradyharron.com is a good one to own if you're called Brady Harron, which I am.
You are.
Therefore, that was a good domain to have. Go to hover.com/unmade and you're going to get 10% off any domains you register the first time you visit. Hover.com/unmade. I have a load of domains registered with them. Other domains I've had registered in the past, I've been gradually moving over to Hover over the years, so they're all in the one basket. They're all with the one company that I trust and respect and like. Hover.com/unmade. Great supporters of the show as well.
Great supporters of the show. Our church domain is through Hover. Any domain I have anything to do with.
There you go. That's an endorsement from God himself. What more could you ask for?
Not strictly an endorsement from God.
No, not strictly. In fact, in no way whatsoever. But I think if God doesn't need to register domains because,
He owns the internet as a whole. Maybe he's actually the one selling the domains.
But I feel like if God was going to register a domain on Earth, he would definitely consider hover. I don't know what he would choose. I can't speak for him, and I will not pretend to, because something bad could happen to me.
This is where I get in trouble with my authorities. So we understand you've been using God for commercial purposes again, Tim.
Just to clarify, that God thing came purely from Brady and also was not true. But the hover.com/unmade thing is true. So go and check them out. This is the point normally where we would announce some winners of some of our Patreon supporters who are going to get things like our Australian nut leather key rings, spoon of the week, all that good stuff. But because of our lack of preparation, I haven't actually fired up the computer that has the algorithm and all the machinery in it that I need to pick the winners. So no winners in this episode, but we'll give some extra stuff out in the next episode. Go to patreon.com/unmadefm if you'd like to be in the running.
But I've got the guitar and everything.
Oh, you brought the guitar to go with it. Well, Tim's got the guitar that he normally strums when I read the winners. So, Tim, do you want to just give us a few? What are you playing at the moment? What's your favourite song at the moment that you've been?
I'm not that I'm playing. I've been playing around with something that I wrote. That I keep plucking.
Really? Well, would you like to play that to us another time, maybe? No, I'm kidding. Come on, give us a little tease.
Let me name something that you hate. My guitar playing.
No, never. Give us a little taste.
No, that's not right. Yeah. Anyway.
There's the strangest problem that when Tim and I record, and I don't actually know why this is yet, because I will hear that guitar playing when you send me the Audacity file after we finish. But for some reason, I can't hear your guitar playing on Zoom. I don't know if it's something to do with frequencies or there's some Zoom setting that doesn't let you play music over Zoom or what it is. But whenever you sit there and play guitar, I can't hear it now, but I will hear it later. So I'll have to give you my feedback on your bit of music later.
Phew, that's probably for the best. I'll be long gone. Yeah. That's good. Can I just say the new leather key rings, the Unmade key rings that you showed me last time, which look amazing. You said you were putting it in the mail. Is mine in the mail? Like it hasn't arrived yet?
No, it won't have arrived yet. It went in the post yesterday.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm so looking forward to that. That's something you can get if you're a patron supporter. So peeps we want to encourage you to join up as a patron supporter.
Australian
it's the kind of thing you can win. Oh yeah, Australian nut. I'm heaps looking forward to that.
Look at that, Tim doing a bit of promotion there. That's not like you.
Yep, that's it. Nice. On behalf of God and myself, I'm ready to go. these are really amazing key rings.
I don't know if God needs a key ring, but if he did have the keys. What are the keys that Jesus fought the devil for or something?
Keys to the kingdom. If there's a key ring for the keys to the kingdom, they will be the Australian nut-coloured Unmade podcast leather key ring.
Yeah, that's right. Imagine that. Imagine getting to heaven and God walking past with the keys to the kingdom and they're on one of our Australian nut leather key rings. What an endorsement that would be.
It'll be all too late, but it will be pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Oh, should we do an oon of the week?
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, we haven't done. Yeah.
So I also didn't have much time to prepare an oon of the week, but I will throw you a bone if you want one. Do you want one?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Today, it's time for Harpoon of the Week. Who doesn't love a good harpoon?
Oh, man. Every week I look forward to the Harpoon of the Week. What is it this week, Brady?
Today, I want to talk about the anchoring harpoons on the Philae spacecraft that landed on a comet in 2014. This little space probe went down, landed on this comet 67P Churyumov Gerasimenko.
Right.
That's a catchy comet name, that one. So it went down, this little gadget, to land on this comet, which is a pretty audacious thing to try. And it had these harpoons that were supposed to fire. So when it landed on the sort of rocky, gravelly, icy comet, these harpoons were like going to fire into the surface to keep the thing anchored in place. And they failed. The harpoons failed. The space harpoons. That they would have become like, of all the harpoons in history, they would have become megastars. But on the big stage, they didn't fire. And as a result, this spacecraft actually bounced off the comet, then went back, and then bounced a second time off the comet, and then went back down. And then it did end up landing on the comet, not where it was supposed to land, in a bit of a less ideal place because of the failed harpoons. Did a bit of science. Everything ended happily, except for the people who made the harpoons. Apparently, there were 0.3 grams of nitrocellulose that were supposed to have something to do with the harpoon propulsion, to probably fire them out into the rock. And apparently, nitrocellulose is quite unreliable in the vacuum of space, they learned. And that's probably why the harpoons failed. So, not every harpoon can be a champion. And these harpoons, they let us down. They failed. But now they made it onto Harpoon of the Week, so all's well that ends well.
Can I just say The Failed Harpoons is a great name for a band? I just love that.
Yes. Oh, yes. Nice. The Failed Harpoons. Imagine if that was the name of your band. Someone's like, why do you call yourself that? Well, let me tell you about the Philae spacecraft. The Failed Harpoons. Nice.
There's a nice song called Harpoon, actually, in the rock genre by the band Jebediah in Australia. It's a nice song.
Okay.
And it's really lovely. But it's it's a sad one. It's like, I love her, but she doesn't really. Like, it starts off, this will take some explaining, but I think you will agree there's no use pretending there's any hope for you and me. And then he goes on, like a harpoon in my heart. It's like, so every time I hear Harpoon, that song comes to mind.
Well, maybe that could be Harpoon of the Week next time.
Maybe, yeah. There's so many harpoons. So little time.
How many harpoons did it take? Did Moby Dick get killed by harpoons?
I've not read Moby Dick.
No, neither have I. And I've now said harpoon enough times that the word harpoon seems really strange to me.
Harpoon. Do they think harpoons get called poons for short? Pass me a poon. Or pass me a harp.
Ideas for a podcast. What do you got, Tim?
All right, we've stalled long enough. It's time to get to the crazy idea. Now, look, I want to say, my in the spirit of the spontaneity of the episode, I want to say that I have several different categories on my notes on my Apple device, and one of them is podcast ideas, which has been going for a long, long time, and then another one is films to see. And there is 2 lists in here. One is called Kids, and then another one's called Not Kids. And
this is the films.
There are 2 lists of films that I make, films that I think of, I must show the kids that film. But and then other ones are like, I must show my wife that film, or we must see that film. I must make a note.
Have you seen most of these films, or are they ones you haven't seen?
They are a mix. The ones with Not Kids I've not seen. They're ones that we should go and see, right? But the kids ones consist of films that I just want to show them as soon as possible, but then other films that they're not quite ready for, but I don't want to, you know what I mean? Forget when they get there.
Because they're not old enough, because they're a bit more.
That's right. They're slightly beyond where they are. As we say, it's not quite for young kids just yet.
On that list of films that your kids aren't quite ready for, what's the one that's furthest in the distance? Like, what's the one that they least are ready to watch? I'm curious to know how how advanced this gets.
It's not probably. Probably the film The Power of One, which there's a bit of violence in South Africa, apartheid, that sort of stuff. Yeah. So
okay, so you haven't got Clockwork Orange on there and stuff like that.
Oh no, it's not like that. It's not like when they grow up. No. It's like for their kids' stage of life or their young adult. I've got Donnie Darko on there, but I actually haven't seen that myself either. So that's sort of got a special asterisk next. Oh, it's in bold. Yeah, there's a few. Actually, there's one here that's been tried and abandoned, and that's Weekend at Bernie's. That was.
Is that because that was a little bit too sexy?
It's funny how there's films where you remember it as all fun and endearing, and then when you're actually watching, you're going, oh heck, oh no, all right, look away now, kids. All right, look away now. Right. Look away. And then finally my wife's voice goes, I think we can watch something else, can't we? It's
because there is a scene where the deceased Bernie has relations with a lady, isn't there?
Oh, I don't think we even got that far. But yeah, anyway. There's also here Police Academy 2. I don't know why I've not just written Police Academy, but for some reason I've written Police Academy 2 when there's like 8 of them.
I don't want to interrupt our own conversation here, man, but what's your podcast idea?
Oh, I'm getting back to that. That's the other list. I just thought I'd mention it.
Films I want to show my kids is a great podcast idea. And now that I've got like a baby who's 1 year old, I'm already having that massive impatience that he's not old enough to watch all the films he needs to watch.
Oh, and that's right. So this is, and there's so many cool kids films. Obviously the Star Wars stuff came in pretty early and it was such a joy to show my kids that. But you're forever thinking of something and then you're just thinking at their age and making calculations. And then it goes on the list like, oh, that's a little bit down the track. But there's Chocolat here.
For the kids?
Yeah, but it's kind of, there's a kid in it, but it's that's a bit adulty, isn't it? The other one I've got here is Titanic. They're too young for Titanic.
How come?
Lots of the trauma, lots of people die, all that kind of stuff. They won't cope with that very well. Not yet.
Oh, and there's a bit of nudie Rudy and a bit of romance in the back of a car too, isn't there?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but that's one sort of look away scene, kids, or something like that. But
right.
The whole you might remember.
Look away while Dad stares intently.
You might remember the ship goes down, man, and like everyone dies pretty much. So that's
I guess. But they must know about the Titanic. They must know there was a ship back in the olden days that hit an iceberg and loads of people died. Like
yes, but they also know that people get shot. But it doesn't mean I say, "Hey, kids, gather around the TV. We're going to watch someone get shot."
I guess, yeah.
There's something different. About that.
They don't. I think they deal with all that death quite well in Titanic. Like it's not gruesome.
No. Look, I haven't just made this list tonight. This is a list that's been growing for a while. So perhaps they're getting a bit closer to that, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some others.
All right.
So there's The Pursuit of Happiness here, the Will Smith movie, which I think will be kind of endearing for them. Father of the Bride 2. We watched Father of the Bride 1 and they really quite liked that. So I just put on must watch number 2.
I think my wife watched Father of the Bride the night before we got married.
Oh, really? Oh, classic.
Yeah. With their girlfriends. Have they seen BMX Bandits?
Yes. We should revisit that because they were pretty young when I got them into that.
Yeah. I like the idea of a podcast about films I want to show my kids. Is that what your idea was? Or?
Well, yeah, that's why I'm telling you this, yeah. It's sort of like things that are. I think there's interesting. There's like where you are now, right, with your son. There's a massive list of stuff that you're going to show him, and then as time goes on, there's a bit of a judgment call about when's the right time. And I love how I timed Star Wars with my eldest daughter. Perfectly, but it was a bit beyond the youngest one. But it was so wonderful to be sitting there watching the original trilogy, and then like when the big reveal comes with Empire Strikes Back with Darth Vader, and to literally be just looking at her at the moment when she goes, "Oh wow." Like, wow, that's great. The penny just dropped in that moment. That's pretty cool. That's a lovely little moment. But the other one's never really gotten into it. So I sort of mistimed it and stuffed it up there. Yeah. Indiana Jones went down well, but we're not Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom's too dark. So
Raiders of the Lost Ark's got some pretty full-on stuff in it for kids. You showed them that.
Yeah, we watched Raiders. Yep. That was all right. I asked the littlest one to look away right at the end, with the scene where their faces fall apart and stuff.
What about at the start where the guy gets spikes through him? He takes the idol from Indiana Jones, and then a few seconds later, Indiana finds him and he's like triggered the spikes and he's been killed. That's quite graphic and scary.
No, that's all fine. That's fine. This is the second episode in a row that we're talking about that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
What about the guy getting done by the propeller, getting chopped up by the propeller when he's having the boxing match with Indiana?
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that. That was all sort of.
God.
Oh, maybe I asked the little one to turn away for that, but
and yet you won't let them watch Titanic, where a few people die in icy water.
It's the big story of Titanic. It's all about that. It's a slow moving train wreck. Well, to use a metaphor that's not quite as bad as a slow moving massive ship of people sinking. But maybe it's time to test out Titanic and see.
No. Don't let me make your kids scared of sea travel forever because Brady rushed Titanic. But do you have a movie from your childhood or your younger times that you just think is incredible that your wife completely hates and it's like a sticking point between you?
Look, it is like that with the Star Wars trilogy.
Right.
It's not that I sit around amazed at the Star Wars trilogy now, but she has total and utter disinterest and in them, whatsoever. So I sort of go, I don't even want to watch it, kind of with the kids. And no, she's not. It's like, that's my job. So
I'll tell you two. We have two movies while you think about it.
Yeah.
One of them is a film that is like actually not a very good film, but I quite liked it, and she hates it. So it's a bit of a joke how we have different opinions on it, and that is Meet Joe Black with Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah, I quite like it. Yeah,
I liked it, but she doesn't. But the other one that I love, and I can't believe she doesn't, is The Princess Bride.
Oh, right, okay.
Because that seems like a film like everyone grew up with and everyone loves, and we're similar ages, and I just thought she would have grown up with it and loved it like me. But I don't think she bonded with it as a kid and didn't see it until she was an adult, and she doesn't get it. She doesn't get why everyone loves it, and I just think it's like just fantastic.
I didn't bond with it as a child. You showed it to me the first time when we were teenagers,
right.
But I guess I was younger. I loved it. Like I was really enjoying it and really, really loving it and laughing with it. And so I can see the value of it. It's not a heart movie though for me in the same way that it is for you. And that like The Black Stallion for me was when I was a really little kid, but even I've watched that later and got a bit bored with it.
Did you show your kids The Princess Bride?
Oh yeah, no, they've seen that multiple times. They love it. Yeah, they love it for sure. It's difficult. These are the challenges of relationships. What do you have? Have you got any kind of? Have you just got a mental list prepared, or have you staggered out the years ahead? And
no, I don't. I mean, I'm not a big preparer and list maker anyway. At the best of times, so I certainly haven't done that. But I really hope he gets into Star Wars because I've been buying up a lot of Star Wars Lego sets and I have them all in storage. And there's no way I'm going to make them. I haven't got time. So I'm imagining, I, as we've discussed before, I'm hoping for that day where I'd like open up the storage locker and say, look at all of this. But if he just watches the Star Wars movies and doesn't like them, then all this Star Wars Lego is going to be like, it's going to be a lot less of a treasure trove for him.
I mean, they are kids' movies, so if he's going to watch them as a kid, he's going to like them. No one ever as a kid goes, bah, If you don't get it as a kid, you can reject it as an adult. But, I'm presuming you're not going to wait that long. You know how we sent through a birthday gift the other day and a little card for your son?
Yeah.
I did have the thought of somehow through a gift in future years smuggling a secret message to him about your massive Lego stash. Like somehow, hiding it inside a toy or writing it underneath, you know what I mean? Somewhere so that when he opens it up later on playing one day and it suddenly says, ask your dad about his massive Lego stash or something like that. So that he comes and getting through a secret message.
I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to keep it a secret from him. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep it a secret for too long. Too excited about it. If you could get the tone right, I don't know how you'd do it, but part of the beauty of this idea also is discussing your kids, like why you think they're ready for it, why they're not ready for it. Like that's quite interesting in itself. Like, it'd be hard to get right because you've got to respect their privacy and stuff like that. And, but if it was done right, it is interesting to discuss why you think the kids aren't ready for this one yet. What is it about that film? What is it about the film that does make them ready now? What's happening in their life that you think, okay, now they're ready for this film because this has happened in their life and I want them to understand this and these lessons they'll learn. And it's quite an interesting topic.
It is, particularly because their passions and interests are so different. So they're really like one sense of humour doesn't match the other one, but one likes to watch shows that matches the sense of humour of the other one, but for that one they don't like it so much. It's really it's hard to predict, but you get a feel after a while. Oh, okay, that's the thing, and it's connected to because we were watching that together on that day when they were sick, and maybe it goes from there. So there's all sorts of reasons why they end up with their interests. They're so fascinating. Right. They're just wonderful. I just love them so much.
They're amazing machines. They're amazing machines. Well, this is normally the point where I would say, did you remember the secret words? But you've done it.
I feel so on top of the world.
Yeah, job done. It's all good. Well done.